are at the Growing Together Farm in South Nashville. Now this farm is sponsored by the Nashville Food Project, and it brings together these people that started out as refugees around the world who have come here to be part of our farming community. This is a market garden that provides a source of income to the farmers, and so they have to strategically choose what they are growing to appeal to individuals, families, and restaurants. Tally, as director of the Growing Together Farm, I know you've been here since the beginning. What got all this started?
This program actually started with a grant through the Center for Refugee and Immigrant in Tennessee and the USDA. They had money that they were giving to refugee families who were interested in farming. So it started as an independent grant program, and then the Nashville Food Project took it over after a few years because we wanted to keep the program going and continue to build out the program. So it's been 8 years now.
Now, tell me how this differs from your usual community garden.
Well, that's a good question. So we are a market garden, which means that basically we operate like a farm. So everything is very production oriented, and the goal is to sell what we produce. So the farmers who work here have the goal of selling everything. These farmers have had trainings about how to really transition from growing just a regular individual garden to a more production-oriented garden around using drip tape and succession planting crops and tearing out old crops so you can put in new crops kind of thing. So really aimed at being efficient and productive in their growing.
And what are the different types of selling markets that you have?
We have done a lot of different things over the years, kind of based on the experience and of the farmers, but as they've grown and gotten more experience, we've changed our markets over time. So we used to sell at the farmers market, which was great because farmers could just bring what they grew and it was kind of low pressure. But as they've gotten better at growing, now we have a community supported agriculture program. So we have about 80 customers that purchase vegetables from us every week, and in return they get a box of whatever's in season. So we have that's a 20-week program throughout the season. We also, through the Nashville Food Project, have vegetables that are purchased and then distributed free to communities around Nashville that are experiencing food insecurity. So we work with partner organizations to distribute that food, and that's also a big part of our work, is growing food that is then purchased by the Nashville Food Project and then shared through people that don't have access to fresh vegetables. And then when we have extra items, and we work with a lot of great restaurants in town that love the program and love to support it by buying our vegetables, and we grow some crops that they can't get anywhere else, so they love to support the program that way.
Now, what are some of the specialty crops that you have here? I know so much of it is your standard market crops, but yeah. I think I saw a few things that were unusual.
Yeah, we have some really fun items. And we grow, from spring to summer to fall, so it changes over time, but a lot of the greens, we have some very traditional heirloom mustard greens that the farmers have brought seeds with them from Bhutan, and they grow every year for their communities. And then we also have some loofah gourd and some bitter gourd and other gourds that the farmers actually prefer to eat green as opposed to letting them dry. Like we would dry and use them as ornamentals, but they eat them green, almost like a summer squash. And then we have roselle or sour leaf, which has kind of a tangy taste that the farmers love to eat that green, and water spinach, which is native to Burma and Asia. The program started at the same time that there was one of the largest resettlements of people from Bhutan through the refugee resettlement program. So when this program was starting out, it was a lot of refugees from Bhutan and Burma coming into Nashville. And so that's who we started this program with. So we have experienced farmers, and then also we have some new farmers that are in their 20s and work alongside their parents and learn from the elders in the community, traditional ways of farming, and then also new ways. And they also have other full-time jobs, but love to come here and earn a supplemental income. And then we also have an apprentice who is a young woman who's from Myanmar, who comes and learns with Roy, and she has no previous experience but wants to learn how to farm and do this for money to help support her family. So we have the full spectrum of experience with the farmers now.
Well, this land is incredible. What are some of your biggest logistical challenges here?
Well, wow. We are definitely grateful for this acre. You know, it's really beautiful, and we have wonderful shade and trees, and we have electricity now, which helps us have a refrigerator, which is amazing, and we have city water, and that's probably the biggest thing. And I think lots of community gardeners would say just water in general is a problem. We're lucky that we have city water, so we have good access, but we still, with so many of us on this plot, have to worry about sharing the resource, making sure it's equally distributed, making sure there's enough, you know, for everybody. So we have rain barrels that we try to supplement the city water with. And we usually all get along and don't argue too much, but when we do, it's about water.
So for you personally, Tally, what is something that you take away every day when you come out in the garden?
I really love my job and love being here with the farmers every day. They just teach me so much about resilience and gratitude and have such a great sense of humor, so we laugh a lot. I mean, there is the language barrier, but we have kind of a shared love of being in this space and growing food, and just being with them gives me a lot of hope for humans in general. So I'm really thankful that I get to be here and experience that.
Well, our first farmer is Roy, and she is from Myanmar. Welcome. And I would like to know, how long have you been gardening here?
3 years.
This is beautiful what you are growing. So what are some of the things that you like to sell in the markets?
ခရမ်းချင်သည်ပြောပြတယ်ခရမ်းချင်သည်တို့ပဲဒီပဲတောင်ရှိနောက်ပြီးမှခေါ်ပြီးတော့မှဒီမုံညင်းပြီးမှဘာလဲဒီဟိုတင်းနေလေ sweet potato and နောက်မုံညင်းမျိုးမျိုးစိုက်တယ်လေဟိုအရင်ကဥစ္စာလေခိုးရာပြီးတော့အများ many kinds of
Wow, this is a lot of crops. So this is hard work. And I wonder, why is it that you like this type of farming?
ဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့ဒါဘာလဲဆိုရင်ကျမအသက်အရွယ်နဲ့ဆိုရှင်အလုံးလုံးတယ်ဆိုတခြားအလုပ်တွေဆိုကျမတွေ့နေတယ်
I can walk anytime here, and then I don't need to go to exercise, but I can walk here, and then at the same time exercise. I can have any fresh vegetable and for my health. And then because of my age, and it's not easy to go and walk outside, but here it's my time is really that's useful, and then I don't need to be waste my time, and I really enjoy walking at the farm.
Well, your crops are beautiful. Thank you so much for growing all of this for Nashville.
Yes, thank you.
Well, our next farmers are Chandra and Danka, and they are from Bhutan. And you're some of the original farmers here, right?
Bhutan, yes.
And I see these beautiful green beans you've been growing.
यहाँ काम गर्नुको लागि धेरै अर्थहरू छन् तपाईको आफ्नो स्वास्थ्यको लागि आफूलाई राम्रो आफूले उत्पादन गरेको चीजहरू खानु
राम्रो हुँदैन
यसबाट सुगर पनि हुँदैन यस्तो हट काम गर्दाखेरि भनेको अब बिक्री गर्दा पनि कस्टमरहरूलाई पनि यो राम्रो फाइदा हुन्छ यसरी नै गरेको
Now, what kind of things do your customers like to buy?
मेरो ग्राहकलाई टमाटर बीन्स स्क्वाश क्याबेज अनियन डाइनोसर केल चाट मस्टार्ड everything.
Now, I see that you're also growing some herbs. Which ones are you growing?
मलाई यही चाहिँ मनपर्छ अब कस्टमरलाई पनि यही राम्रो हुन्छ र म यही भावले लगाउँछु अब यही दिन्छु कस्टमरहरूलाई
Well, your farm here is beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
थ्याङ्क यू म्याम
Thank you.
तपाईहरु आएर यसरी यो नेसनल टु ग्यादर यो गार्डनमा आएर चाहिँ इन्टरभ्यू लिएर यसरी हामीहरू जस्तो मानिसको इन्टरभ्यू लिनुभयो तपाईँहरूलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद थ्याङ्क यू भेरी मच
Thank you. Well, this garden visit has been so inspiring, seeing how people can share their cultures, share what they do, and learn from each other, all in the beautiful outdoors.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.